The snow was falling hard on the dead planet of Karza 9. Cold wind blew like knives across the white ground. Nothing moved. Nothing lived, but then there was a sound, a soft shuffle. A weak step, and then another. A figure came crawling out of the storm. Her body was covered in rags. Her arms were chained. Her ankles bled through the ice. She could not see. Her name was Sira. Once, long ago, she had been a proud warrior. Strong, beautiful, respected. But now she was only a shadow of her old self. Blinded for her sins, spayed like an animal, left to die alone. For 15 years she had survived like this, in silence, in darkness. No one had spoken to her in a long time. No one had touched her without pain. She did not expect kindness anymore. She only wanted to find shelter from the cold before it killed her. She fell near a cracked rock and curled into a ball. Her body shook. Her hands clutched the metal collar around her neck. She whispered, "I'm still alive." But why? Then footsteps, slow, careful. Heavy boots crushing snow. Sira's ears twitched. Her body froze. She reached for the sharp rock nearby. The footsteps stopped. "Don't move," a man's voice said. "I'm not here to hurt you." Sira's hand trembled on the rock. Human voice, clear, calm. She had not heard that language in years. "Who are you?" she growled. "Another hunter?" "No," the man said. "I'm a healer." Sira turned her face toward the sound, but her blind eyes saw nothing. "There are no healers on this planet." "Then maybe I'm lost," he said. His tone was quiet.
"Not afraid." She heard him walk closer.
Her fingers clutched the rock tighter. "I said don't move," he repeated, but softer. "Your feet are bleeding. If you keep walking, you'll die in an hour." "Let me die," she whispered. But the man didn't leave. Instead, she felt something strange. Warm fingers touched her wrist. Then buzz. A strange hum. A soft glow. She yanked her arm away. "What did you do?" "I scanned your nerves," he replied. "Your eyes, they were damaged with acid, weren't they?" she gasped. "How do you know that?" "I've seen it before," he said. "On others? Others like me?" "No," he said. "Others your people punish the same way." Sira's breath caught in her throat. The man was human, a survivor, but he knew her kind. That meant one thing. He had been part of something. Maybe military, maybe research, or maybe worse. "I don't trust you," she said. "You don't have to," he replied. She felt his hands touch her temples. Just for a second. She jerked back. "Stop," but then she blinked and saw light, not shapes, not full vision, but light. After 15 years of blackness, her mouth opened. Her body went still. "That's not possible." The man took a deep breath. "You're not completely blind. Your eyes, the inner nerves weren't fully destroyed. Just blocked. Scar tissue. I can treat it. Why would you help me?" she asked in a hard voice. "I'm nothing. I'm broken. I'm punished. Because no one deserves what was done to you," he said. Sira didn't answer. Her throat was tight. Her hands shook. "What's your name?" he asked. "Sira, I'm Evan," he said. She stayed silent for a long time, then said, "You should leave me here. My kind don't forgive. If they find you helping me, they'll kill you." Evan replied without fear. "Let them try." Suddenly, a low howl rose in the distance. A creature, not wind, something alive, something big. Evan stood up quickly. His eyes scanned the trees. Sira heard the fear in his breath. "What is it?" "I don't know yet," he said. "But I think it smells blood." Sira tried to rise but fell. Evan moved fast, lifted her onto his back. "Don't touch me," she shouted. "I'm not leaving you here," he said. "If that thing gets close, your chains won't save you." As he ran into the storm, she clung to him without meaning to. Her blind eyes, now flickering with light, watched the darkness, and for the first time in years, she whispered a word she thought she had forgotten. Hope. Snow hit Evan's coat hard as he carried the weak alien girl through the frozen forest. Her body was cold, light, and scarred. She didn't speak again, just held tight like someone too tired to fight. She was not just any alien. She was Sira, once feared, now forgotten. Evan reached his small base hidden under an old cargo shipwreck. The door was buried in snow, but he tapped a code into a panel on the side. A soft hum and the metal door opened. Warm air spilled out. He stepped inside and placed her gently on a padded table. Sierra pulled away from him quickly. "Don't touch me again," she said. He nodded. "You're safe here. No one knows this place." She sniffed the air. It smelled clean. Too clean. Like a lab. Her hands curled into fists. "What is this place? Are you military?" Evan shook his head. "I was a medic, not a soldier. I came here during the war, but they left me behind." Sierra laughed once, bitter and cold. "Now you help criminals like me?" "I don't see a criminal," he replied. "I see someone who was hurt. Someone who didn't deserve it." Her jaw tightened. "You don't know what I did." "Maybe not," he said. "But I know what they did to you. I've studied alien medicine for years. I've seen the scars they leave. I can't fix everything, but maybe I can fix your eyes." Sierra went silent. She didn't believe in kindness anymore, but when he touched her skin earlier, something had changed. "I saw light," she whispered. "Just for a second." Evan turned on a small lamp. "Let's try again." He walked over and opened a metal case. Inside were strange tools glowing softly, blue, green, red. He took out a small device and walked back to her. "Hold still," he said. "I can't see you," she snapped. "What do you mean, hold still?" Evan smiled a little. "Fair point." He gently touched her temples with both hands. His gloves lit up, sending tiny pulses of energy into her nerves. She flinched. "It hurts," she said. "Only for a second," he replied. "Your optic nerves are still alive." "Just sleeping," she gasped. Flickers again, not full sight, but brighter, clearer. She could make out shadows now. A hand, a light. A face. She reached up slowly. Her fingers touched Evan's chin. "You're human." "Yes. You're not old." "I'm 28. But that war ended 15 years ago," she said. Evan looked away. "I was just a kid. A hybrid research subject. They dropped me here when the project failed." Sierra's breath caught. "You're a hybrid?" she asked. "Half human, half alien?" "Yes," Evan said quietly. "But I never met the alien part of me. I only remember cold metal walls. And tests." They both went silent. Sierra lay back on the table, still feeling the strange warmth behind her eyes. A soft tingling crawled under her skin. "You're using your own energy?" she asked. "Partly," Evan replied. "And this device helps." "Why would you waste that on me?" "Because..." He paused. "When I was young, someone risked everything to protect me. I never got to thank them, but now I can help someone else." She turned her face toward the light. "Don't expect me to say thank you." He smiled. "I don't need you to." Suddenly, the base lights flickered. Evan turned fast. "That's not good." A red light blinked on the panel near the door. "What is that?" Sierra asked, sitting up. "Something is near the entrance," he said. "Something big." Sierra's heart pounded. "Did you leave tracks?" Evan cursed under his breath. "I covered them, but if it's a tracker beast, it can smell." He grabbed a small blaster and moved to the door. Sierra's chains rattled as she stood slowly. Her knees shook. She touched her eyes. She could see. A little. Not enough to fight. But enough to know she didn't want to go blind again. "Give me a weapon," she said. "You can't fight," Evan said. "I was a warrior," she growled. "Even without eyes, I can still kill." Outside, something howled. Evan turned to her. "Then stand beside me." He tossed her a short blade. She caught it easily without missing. The glow in her eyes flickered again. She smiled. For the first time in 15 years, she felt alive. The night outside was darker than usual. Snow fell heavy and thick, muffling every sound, but Sierra could still feel it. That thing was out there, watching, waiting. Inside the shelter, Evan stood near the door, weapon ready. Sierra crouched low, one hand on the wall, the other holding the blade he gave her. Her body trembled, not from fear, but from something deeper. A memory. "A ghost," she whispered. "I know what it is." Evan turned. "What?" "That sound. That breath. I trained it. A long time ago. You trained a monster?" Sierra nodded. "Before they blinded me. Before they said I was a traitor." Evan said nothing. He only stared. She took a deep breath. "Do you want to know what I really did? Why they marked me? Why they made me blind and spayed me like a beast?" Evan didn't answer, but Sierra spoke anyway. 15 years ago. Sierra was strong then. A commander. A teacher. She trained young warriors in combat, including a new line of bioengineered beasts, living weapons made in labs. She had bonded with one of them, a massive black-skinned creature with white eyes and claws that could shred armor. She named it Morik. He listened to her voice, slept at her feet, fought by her side. But one day, Sierra found something. Deep in the lab files, hidden under false names, she uncovered a report, Project Omega. It wasn't just training beasts. It was about creating hybrids. Alien children mixed with human genes, silent experiments, secret deaths. No one outside the council knew. Sierra took the report to her commander. She was loyal. She thought they would stop it. They didn't. They called her a liar, a traitor, a danger, and worst of all, her sister, General Lycia, stood in front of the council and agreed with them. She is broken, Lycia said. She disobeyed. She stole information. She must be punished. Sierra screamed when the acid burned her eyes. She shook in pain when the cold needle ended her ability to have children. Her rank was stripped, her name removed from records. Then one night they left her in the snow. In chains, they didn't expect her to live. Back in the present. I never saw my sister again, Sierra said. But I remember her words, cold, proud, like I was dirt. Evan listened in silence. The creature outside howled again. Sierra stood straighter. That's Morik. They turned him into a hunter after I was gone. But if you trained him, Evan said, maybe he still remembers you. Or maybe he'll finish what they started. Suddenly the door creaked. Not from a knock, but from pressure. Something was leaning against it. Evan aimed his weapon. Get behind me, but Sierra didn't move. No, she said softly. Let me try. She stepped forward, heart pounding. Slowly, carefully, she placed both hands on the metal door. Her chains clinked softly, then she whispered, Morik. Silence when then a low growl. Not angry, not wild, but confused. She closed her eyes. I'm still here. You remember me, don't you? A heavy breath from the other side. Then a thud. Then another. It wasn't attacking. It was pacing, waiting. Evan whispered, Is it listening to you? I don't know, Sierra said. But I want to try something. She took her blade and cut a thin line on her palm. Blood dripped onto the floor. She touched it to the door. I'm not afraid of you, she whispered. You were my student, my friend. The growl faded. Then, silence. A minute passed. 2. The door slowly creaked open, but nothing entered. Only wind. Only snow. And then, they saw it. A huge black shape just beyond the trees, not charging, not running, bowing. Evan stared. He remembers you. Sierra nodded slowly, eyes wide. Then maybe, she whispered. I'm not as forgotten as I thought. The beast stood just beyond the trees. Its large body was still. Snow gathered on its black back. Long claws dug into the ground, but not in attack. Its head was lowered. Morik remembered. Sierra stepped forward slowly, feeling the wind sting her face. Her eyes, though still weak, could now see faint shapes, enough to recognize the creature she once trained. He's bowing, Evan said, almost in disbelief. No, Sierra whispered. He's waiting. For what? For me to speak first. That's how I trained him. Evan lowered his weapon. Then talk to him. Sierra took a deep breath. Her voice trembled, not from fear, but from old emotions she had buried. Morik, she called gently. Do you remember who you are? The beast's ears twitched. You're not just a hunter. Not just a weapon. You were more, she said. You were mine. The creature let out a soft, deep sound. Not a growl, but something like a purr. Evan whispered, He understands you, Sierra nodded. I was the only one who treated him like a living being. They hated that. Said I was weak. She walked forward, dragging her chains through the snow. Morik didn't move. She held out her hand. He took a step closer, then another. Then, he knelt before her. Sierra dropped to her knees too, touched his face, and pressed her forehead against his. A warm tear slid down her cheek. The creature leaned into her like a loyal dog meeting its master again after years of pain. I thought you were gone, she whispered. I thought I was gone, Evan said from behind her. But maybe none of us really are. Sierra turned. Morik was the only one who didn't betray me. Not even my sister showed mercy. Suddenly Morik growled, a warning this time. He looked into the distance. His muscles tensed. What is it? Evan asked. Sierra stood quickly. Someone's coming. The snow parted in the sky. 3 small drones flew overhead, blinking red. Sierra's eyes narrowed. Scout drones. Council tech. They know I'm alive. Evan pulled her back toward the shelter. Come on, we have to move. No, Sierra said. We need to make them think I'm still weak. Still blind. They'll try to kill you. She looked at Moruk. Let them try. Inside the shelter, Evan scanned the drone signal. They didn't just fly by. They were locking on. They want to finish what they started, Sierra said. No witness. No truth. What truth? Sierra sat down. Her fingers traced the edges of the collar on her neck. The truth about the hybrids. About you, Evan froze. Me? You're part of the same project I found years ago, Project Omega. I saw the files. They mixed human and alien genes to build the perfect peacekeeper. But it failed. Why? Because the peacekeeper would be more powerful than the council, she said. They feared their own creation. Evan's mind spun. You're saying I was made to stop war? Yes, she said. But they called you a threat instead. That's why they shut it down. Why they punished me when I found out. Evan stood silent. Then what am I now? Sierra walked to him and gently touched his chest. Her fingers found something, a small mark just under his shirt. A glowing symbol hidden but alive. You're still that creation, she said. Still the key. Your blood healed my eyes. Your voice woke Moruk. Evan shook his head. I'm not a hero. I'm just broken, Sierra smiled gently. So am I. Suddenly, a sharp beep echoed through the shelter. Moruk roared from outside. Evan checked the screen. A drop pod, fast, heavy, 5 minutes away. Sierra's eyes narrowed. Execution team. He looked at her. What do we do? We fight, she said. You're not fully healed. She raised her blade. But I'm not broken anymore. Moruk howled loud enough to shake the trees. Sierra stepped beside him. Evan loaded his weapon. His hands glowed softly with energy. I was made to keep peace, he said. Let's start by surviving this, Sierra grinned. Let them come. The drop pod hit the snow like a falling hammer, shaking the frozen ground. Steam burst out as the doors unlocked with a hiss. From inside stepped 5 alien soldiers in black armor. Silent, deadly, and fast. They didn't speak. They didn't need to. Their mission was clear. Kill the traitor. Inside the shelter, Evan powered up the defense field. It buzzed low, barely enough to block a single blaster shot. This won't hold long, he said. Sierra tied back her torn cloak and gripped her blade. Her hand still trembled slightly, but not from weakness, from memory. These were the same elite guards who dragged her from her post 15 years ago. She remembered their leader, Corin, cold eyes and colder heart. Outside, Moruk growled, circling the shelter like a wolf ready to defend its den. His black eyes locked onto the enemy. The soldiers moved in a tight line, efficient, trained, merciless. They'll aim for you first, Evan said. Sierra nodded. I know, he looked at her. You can't take them alone. Her voice was calm. I'm not alone. Then she stepped into the snow, her chains clinking softly, her eyes narrowed. Not with hate, but with truth. Corin stepped forward. You should have stayed dead. Sierra tilted her head. You should have stayed in my memories. He raised his weapon. By order of the council, you are to be executed for crimes against the bloodline. Sierra laughed. Still following orders? Even when you know the truth? You betrayed your people. I uncovered a crime. She shouted. The hybrid program, the lies. The murdered children. Corin's jaw tightened. That information was sealed for the good of the Empire. Sierra stepped closer. No, it was sealed to protect your masters. He didn't fire. Instead, he lowered his gun slightly. You were one of our best. Why did you throw it all away? I didn't, she said. You did when you let them blind me instead of listening. Suddenly, Moruk leapt out of the shadows. The soldiers turned, too slow. He slammed into the first one, crushing armor with his claws. The second soldier fired, hitting Moruk's shoulder, but the beast didn't stop. Evan joined the fight, his hands glowing blue as he fired small bursts of energy. Not lethal, but enough to blind sensors and knock their balance. Sierra moved like fire, silent. Sharp and angry, she struck one soldier in the knee, dodged a blade, then swept low and knocked the last one down. Corin raised his weapon but paused. She stood in front of him, unchained, eyes glowing faintly with Evan's touch, breathing hard, alive. Do it, she said. Finish what you started. But Corin didn't fire. His voice cracked. Believed in the council. Sirah's eyes burned. Then look at what your belief created. He looked around. The team was broken. Morok stood beside Sirah like a black wall. Evan approached slowly, hands still glowing. Corin dropped his weapon. They'll send more, he whispered. I know, Sirah said, but now we have something they fear. Evan stepped forward. The truth? Corin looked at him closely. You're the hybrid? Evan nodded. Corin exhaled. Then everything she said was real. They erased the children, Sirah said. All of them. Evan is the last. Corin shook his head slowly. I was just a soldier. I never knew. Sirah touched his arm. Then stop being a weapon. Be a witness. Evan glanced up at the sky. More ships will come. We need to leave this planet. Where would we go? Corin asked. Where someone will listen, Evan said. Where we can show them what the council buried. Corin looked down. Then slowly nodded. I'll help you. I owe you that much. Sirah's voice was soft. No, you owe it to yourself. Inside the broken drop pod, they found the encrypted logs. Names, orders, locations, secrets buried for years. Sirah stared at the screen. There was one name that made her freeze. General Lycia, her sister. Still alive. Still a leader. And now? Standing in their way. They'll protect her, Corin said. Sirah smiled. Then we make them afraid. Evan touched her shoulder. You ready for that? She looked into the distance. I was ready the day they took my eyes. I just didn't know it yet. The snowstorm faded by morning. The sky above Karza 9 turned a pale silver. Soft light touching the icy ground where blood had frozen overnight. The air was quiet again, but not calm. Something had changed. Inside the shelter, Evan sat at the table staring at the glowing mark on his chest. The mark had always been there. Faint. Hidden under skin. But since he helped Sirah, it now pulsed softly with light. It was shaped like a circle split in two. Half human, half alien. A forgotten symbol. Sirah stood across from him, holding the council's stolen logs in her hand. Her eyes were clearer now. Her body still scarred, but her presence felt heavier, stronger. She had remembered something last night, a detail that had haunted her dreams. I saw you before, she said. Evan looked up. What? I didn't realize it until now. The files. The tests. The child they were protecting. She took a deep breath. You were the only hybrid that survived the first phase. You were 10 years old when they evacuated the lab. Evan's face went pale. I don't remember that. They erased your memory, Sirah said. But not all of it. Some parts stayed. Your touch, your instincts, your healing ability. That's why your hands glow. You weren't just part of the program, Evan. She stepped closer. You are the program. Evan stood up slowly. You think I'm some kind of weapon? No, she said softly. You were never meant to fight. You were made to fix. Fix what? The galaxy, she said. The war. The hatred. The violence between humans and aliens. They wanted someone who could understand both sides. Who could connect them? He stepped back, overwhelmed. I'm not that, he whispered. I'm just a broken man on a dead planet. She touched his shoulder. No, Evan, you gave me back my sight. You tamed a monster with your voice. You risked your life for someone who had nothing left. He looked into her eyes. You're more human than anyone I've ever met, she said. Suddenly, a sharp alert blinked on the shelter's screen. Corin rushed in from outside. We've been found again. This time, it's not scouts. It's her. Sirah's breath stopped. Lycia? Corin nodded. Yes, General Lycia. Your sister is landing with a warship and 10 elite guards. ETA, 20 minutes. Evan looked at Sirah. What will she do if she sees you? She'll finish it, Sirah said. Last time she used acid and chains. This time, she'll use fire. Morok growled deeply outside, sensing the threat in the air. Sirah clenched her fists. She thinks I'm still weak. That I'm still blind. She doesn't know I have you. Evan looked at the symbol glowing on his chest. We can't fight a warship. No, she said. But maybe we don't have to. Corin raised a brow. You have a plan? Yes, she said. One thing the Council fears more than traitors is truth. If we can send the stolen files, the proof to the colonies, to both alien and human outposts, they won't be able to hide anymore. They'll call it lies, Corin said. Then I'll show them my scars, Sirah replied. And Evan will show them what they made him forget. Evan nodded slowly. Okay, let's do it. Corin connected the shelter to an old comm satellite buried under the snow. As he worked, Evan and Sierra stood near the blast door waiting for the woman who had destroyed everything. Tell me about her, Evan said quietly. Lysia. Sierra didn't answer for a moment. Then said, she was like me, strong, proud, but colder. She believed in power, not people. When I found the truth, she saw me as a threat, not a sister. She turned you in. She didn't blink, Sierra whispered, not even when I screamed her name. Outside, a deep rumble shook the snow. The warship had landed. Evan looked at her. Are you ready? No, she said. But I'm not afraid anymore. The screen flashed green. Corin shouted, the data is sent. The truth is out. Sierra smiled. Then we've already won. The door burst open, and standing in the snow was General Lysia, tall and cold, her eyes sharp like ice blades. She saw Sierra and smiled. You're still alive, Lysia said. And you're still a monster, Sierra replied. Lysia raised her hand. Sierra raised her voice. Say my name. Lysia, she said loud. Say the name of the sister you blinded and see who still stands. Snow swirled between the two sisters. Sierra stood barefoot in the cold, chain links still hanging from her wrists like old memories. Her eyes, once burned blind, now glowed with soft golden light. She stared at the woman who had taken everything from her, General Lysia, leader of the Council's elite, the one who gave the order, the one who never said sorry. Lysia smiled, sharp and slow. You should have stayed in the dark, sister. I was never in the dark, Sierra said. Only waiting. Behind her, Evan stepped forward, the mark on his chest pulsing brightly through his shirt. Morik stood beside him, low to the ground, ready to strike. Corin aimed his stolen blaster at the incoming soldiers. But no one moved. Lysia's eyes flicked to Evan. So this is the hybrid you hid? The last piece of your failure? No, Sierra said. He's the piece you feared. Lysia's voice stayed calm. We erased the project. Buried the truth. You should have died with it. But we didn't, Evan said, stepping beside Sierra. And now everyone knows. Lysia raised her wrist. A signal, her guards lifted their weapons. Evan raised his glowing hands. Wait, Sierra said. Stepping forward, her voice was strong. Her feet sank in the snow, her scars showed proudly. No more hiding, she said. No more lies. She looked directly into Lysia's eyes. You blinded me. Spayed me. Threw me away like trash. Because I found out the truth. Lysia didn't blink. I did what had to be done, she said. You destroyed peace to protect power. I protected our kind from chaos. You chose fear, Sierra said. And fear has a cost. She pointed at Evan. This human, this hybrid, is everything the Council feared. Not because he's a weapon, but because he's better than them. Lysia's hand twitched. Her guards moved. Morik growled. Evan's hands lit brighter. But Sierra didn't stop. He healed me, she said. He gave me back my eyes. My voice, my hope. Not with guns. Not with threats. With kindness, Lysia stepped forward, angry now. He is a mistake. No, Evan said. I'm a message. He raised his shirt, revealing the glowing mark. This is proof. Of what you made.
Of what you feared. Lysia hesitated. Corin stepped beside them.
And we've sent it to every major outpost, human and alien. The Council can't hide anymore. A pause. Then Lysia's calm face cracked. She turned and shouted, kill them. Blaster fire lit the snow, but Morik was faster, leaping into the air, slamming a soldier to the ground. Evan raised his hands, blasting two more with pulses of light that shorted their tech. Corin fired with focus. No fear, and Sierra, unarmed, ran straight toward Lysia. The two sisters clashed. Lysia swung her energy blade. Sierra dodged. Fast and low, grabbing Lysia's wrist and twisting hard. The blade fell. They tumbled into the snow. Lysia landed on top, choking her. You were always weaker. Sierra gasped, her eyes burning. I was, she said, grabbing a shard of ice, but I learned. She drove the ice into Lysia's side. Not to kill, but to break control. Lysia screamed, falling to the side. Sierra stood over her, breathing hard. You took everything, she said, but not who I am. Lysia's voice trembled. You'll never belong again. I don't need to, Sierra said. I belong to the truth. Evan rushed to her side. Are you okay? Sierra nodded. The rest of the guards lay on the ground, stunned or running. Morag stood panting, covered in cuts but victorious. Corin held a wounded arm. We did it. Evan looked up. The skies flashed with distant signals, replies from outposts. The message worked, he said. They're asking for more. Asking what else the council hid. Sierra looked down at her sister, now unconscious in the snow. I didn't want revenge, she whispered. Just to be heard. Evan smiled softly. You were. Later, in the shelter, as they treated wounds and watched the night pass, Sierra sat by the small fire. Her eyes glowed like fire under the dim lights. Evan sat beside her. You know, he said, you could lead something new. She shook her head. No, I've seen too much. But they'll listen now. She turned to him. Then maybe you should lead, she said. You carry both worlds, he looked down. I don't know how. You'll learn, she smiled, just like I did. He looked at her, really looked. Not as a soldier, not as a traitor, not as broken, but as someone whole. Thank you, he said. For what? She asked. For seeing me. She leaned back, eyes open, chains gone, heart full, and for the first time in 15 years, Sierra smiled into the light.